The final unofficial MVP ballot has been submitted. There were some familiar faces on the list, and there were some new faces that cracked the list. But the 5 players that were submitted were Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Ja Morant, and they said Jason Tatum, but I say Devin Booker. Nikola Jokic racked in 62 out of 100 of those first place votes, but in this video we'll be determining who we think should be the NBA's MVP. Starting with the reigning MVP, Nikola Jokic. Jokic is looking to secure his second MVP and go back-to-back in that category. He's the first player ever to have at least 25 points, 13 rebounds, and 6 assists throughout the duration of a season. He's the only player in the NBA that's top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists. And he has the lowest usage rate out of every MVP candidate. So he leads the NBA in top 10 in points, rebounds, and assists, and he's actually used the less out of all these stars. If that doesn't spell domination, I don't know what does. He's also played the whole season, or just about the whole season, without his other 2 stars. No Jamal Murray, no Michael Porter Jr. Murray is yet to play at all this season, and Michael Porter Jr. only played 9 games way earlier this year, leaving Will Barton to be his second leading scorer. Nikola Jokic has the Nuggets in the 6th seed, and the record is really only like that because the West is such a deep squad. If they were in the Eastern Conference, the Denver Nuggets would be the 5th seed. That's how good Nikola Jokic has played, and while that seems like a minor difference, that 5th seed would guarantee Denver home court advantage come playoffs. Now, Jokic also didn't get enough credit for his MVP season last year. Again, finished off no Jamal Murray. He's able to knock off Dame and them in the playoffs. But he didn't get enough credit because Joel Embiid went down late and LeBron went down late, which pretty much opened the gates for Jokic to run away with the MVP. Now, while all of that may be true, Jokic has come back this season and left no doubt who the best center in the NBA is. At least that's what you'll say if you're voting for Jokic in that case. Where Jokic really shines is his passing ability. We've never seen a center truly run the point guard. We may see centers make a good pass here or there, but Nikola Jokic makes great passes, trip in and trip out down the floor. Nikola Jokic is always looking to set people up. He's 3rd in the NBA in assists off dribble handoffs. My only question is, when it comes to points and rebounds, compare him to any other big, they're eerily similar. Where Jokic runs away with the argument is in the assist. Right now he's averaging 8 assists a game. And that there is the difference maker in Nikola Jokic and all these other guys. Nikola Jokic also leads in most advanced stats. Nikola Jokic has put the world on notice that he's here to stay. He's letting it know that it's not just Joel, AD, and Giannis. He's easily crept in that conversation and quite possibly knocked Anthony Davis out of that conversation. Do you think Nikola Jokic should go back-to-back and win his second MVP? And no matter what you say, I know a guy who's ready to combat that argument. And he goes by the name of Joel Embiid. Now, all Joel Embiid has done was lead this team to a 35-23 record before trading Ben Simmons. So he played half a season without Ben Simmons. He leads the NBA in 30-point games coming from the center spot. He's looking to be the first center to lead the NBA as a center in scoring since Shaq did it in 2000, which is exactly why I call him Baby Shaq. He is a more skilled version of Shaq. He had that quote where he said, one day he can be Shaq, one day he can be Kobe. And that's coming from a 7-footer. He's also tied for the lead for the most 30-point, 10-rebound games in the NBA. He's first in clutch points. He's having a career high in points and assists. And we haven't really seen a drop-off since James Harden arrived on the team. This is clearly some of Joel's best basketball he's played. This is also the healthiest basketball he's played. As I said earlier, basically a 30-point machine. Is there anybody one-on-one who can stop Joel Embiid from getting to where he wants to go and doing what he wants to do? Joel Embiid has made it very loud that he wants to be the MVP. Him and Jokic had a showdown a couple weeks ago. Jokic got the better of him. Jokic, as I mentioned, has 62 out of the 100 first place votes. Joel may be down, but he's not out. Coming in at number 3 is a guy who could easily win it for the 3rd time. And that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's top 3 in points per game. He's top 3 for Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And he has the lowest minutes per game out of all of the MVP candidates. So he ranks top 3 on the offensive side and top 3 on the defensive side. And he's out on the floor less than any of these guys on this list. He is the guy who's tied with Joel for the most 30-point, 10-rebound games. Him and Joel just had a showdown where he secured a game-winning block. The one thing about Giannis that he doesn't get enough credit for, and I'm going to be careful with this, but he's MJ-like as far as doing it on the offensive end, doing it on the defensive end, and contributing to winning. That's what Michael Jordan did. He won championships, he won scoring titles, and he won Defensive Player of the Year awards. That's what Mike did, and he was capable of doing that all in the matter of one season. Giannis Antetokounmpo is not very far from that. He could win the scoring title, he could win Defensive Player of the Year, and they could win the championship. One thing that's undeniable about Giannis is his effort. He's had multiple game-winning blocks. He's going to showcase effort on each play. Rather, you're more talented than him. Are you going to outwork Giannis Antetokounmpo ever? I don't think so. Putting your body on the line, sometimes you risk getting dunked. Giannis has gotten dunked on a couple times, but that's never stopped him from jumping at the rim. Giannis Antetokounmpo is the most dominant paint presence since Shaq. So although I call Joel baby Shaq or a more skilled version, that's more about the body frame. But when you talk about straight brute force, guy who's going to put his head down and stop it, that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Him and Kyrie shoot the same percentage on mid-range jump shots. Giannis has developed a turnaround. He's turned into a more polished scorer. And he also played a significant amount of the season without Brook Lopez. Brook Lopez's first game back was March 14th, when he previously missed every game but the season opener on October 19th. The similarities with Jokic, Joel, and Giannis is that they've all missed key guys on their team, and they've been able to still produce at an extremely high level. That is why those guys are top 3 in the MVP voting. Now these next 2 guys, they don't have a shot at winning the MVP, but they're definitely worth mentioning. Marant had his official breakout season. We had a very small sample size of that when he knocked out Golden State in the play-in, and at that point we should have known that was just the start. And depending on how you view this award, or how the NBA will view this award, if they go by the acronyms most valuable player, that's Nikola Jokic. But if you do the most valuable player as in the guy who's been the best player this season, which is how they usually do it, Marant can really creep in that conversation. He's led the Grizzlies to the 2nd seed, also with a 50-win season. No one saw that coming. He leads the NBA in paint points, and that's coming from the guard spot. But at the same time, he's also shooting an improved 34% from the 3, and that's just 1% under league average. This is his first season as an All-Star. And while it's his first season as an All-Star, this is also the first season that the Grizzlies have been must-see TV in a while. And that's all thanks to Marant. This team feeds off his energy. We've all heard the D Rose comparisons, the way they slash through the lane, they can finish over contact. Marant fears no one. He's going to try to dunk on you every chance he gets. And he's had a very impressive 27 points a game, 5 rebounds a game, 6 assists a game. Close to 6 rebounds and close to 7 assists. Can Marant fit in the most improved player category as well? I know once you're a star, but we didn't see this kind of jump from Marant, and he's exceeded all expectations. So it might not be this year that he wins the MVP, but it's definitely in his future. And the guy who started to get some pub recently, but he wasn't at all at the beginning of the season, Devin Booker. Devin Booker's the leading scorer on the best team in the NBA. So since when wasn't that the main criteria for MVP? Usually, if your team is winning, you can win the MVP. So some of the cons out there is that Phoenix has an all-around team. They also have a guy by the name Chris Paul who does not the heavy lifting, but he puts guys in places, and it may seem a little easier when he's out there. So that could be a knock on Devin Booker. But Devin Booker completely erased that narrative dating back to last season where they had to play pivotal postseason games without Chris Paul. And this season, Chris Paul recently just missed 11 games. And while he was out, Devin Booker was averaging 28 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists on 50, 40, 90 shooting. He's averaging this season 27, 5, and 5. And 8 out of the last 9 people to do that have won MVP. So he's doing something that majority people do. They win the MVP. He's the leading scorer on the best team in the NBA, but yet he's actually under Jason Tatum in the MVP voting. Just on my list, I put him above, but really they have him under Jason Tatum. And this team and Devin Booker have showed that they can run and win without Chris Paul. D Book is 9th in scoring. We already know what he could do with the ball, but ever since Chris Paul got there, his playmaking has developed. He's an absolute amazing alley-oop thrower now to DeAndre Ayton. And his offensive game has actually gotten better than it was the season before. Devin Booker may not win it, but he should definitely be higher than number 5 on this list, considering he has 2 of the main criteria to win it. But you know the NBA changes the goalpost. We're in the home run stretch of this season. Right now, in order, the MVP voting goes as Jokic, Joel, Giannis, Ja Morant, Jason Tatum. As I said, I took out Jason Tatum, I put in Devin Booker. Leave a comment who you think the MVP should be, or who's your vote on the MVP. As always, be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.